Hey guys, welcome back with another video of Lindsay. Today we're going to be looking at monsters units, monsters, and the unit mass in general. We're going to talk about how this is important in battles, how and what you should look out for, and why monsters aren't as great as they seem to be on paper. They can be really good if used correctly, such as in the case of Trot the Unclean or Rackard, if you do the right buffs. However, they can also be disastrous. Namely, I decided to give his input into this video as well. Namely, because you're paying a lot for much less than you would if you have some shit stacks, as they are called. So let's get straight into this. Today we're going to start with a roughly equal value army of gold with Green Lizardman and Toddy, and then we'll move on with other monsters and keep talking as we're going along. Firstly, when you're talking at monsters, you need to look at their mass, their speed, and their charge. Generally, their charge and speed are decent, although there are some monsters such as the Spider and Narcotic Spider, and certain Stegodons, and I'm not sure what else. Giants tends to be slow as well. They don't have that much speed. Now, large creatures have one big disadvantage. Their mass, which can also be their advantage, tends to not do that well against missile units, and they tend to get hit a lot more because they're gigantic pincushions. However, if you get enough mass, you can break through any line at all. In this case, we're facing the equivalent of spearmen in gold to our army. Of course, our army is not going to do that well. We're going to charge in, but we're going to take a lot of damage. I mean, we're still going to dish out quite a bit, but we're going to take quite a bit of damage. As you can see, our general Krokgar is instantly taking damage. Our Kroxigors are also going to be able to dish out some damage, but overall they're going to start getting killed relatively quickly. This is because large units on their own tend not to do that well, and the way to deal with them really easily is to split them up, take them apart from the rest of the army, and kill them individually. As you can see, we are losing the balance of power drastically, really quickly, even though we're not losing that much, whereas quote unquote we're getting a lot of kills, but we're not really doing that well overall. Could be using his abilities to do a little bit more damage here and there, but overall our army is about to collapse in its entirety because, well, we're outnumbered. However, if we look into the next scenario, if you look at this scenario, they will not stand a chance. This is because we have a lot more monsters, and they are a lot stronger in numbers. I'm using Kroxigors. You could do this the same with anything. Minotaur Doomstacks are popular with Beastmen. We have, of course, Stegodon Doomstacks, which are really good in general, especially since they're individual units. Hydras, there's Tomb Scorpion, and the such. And these tend to do so much better. If you're just gonna see the difference in previous damage is insane. We'll be able to deal a lot more damage really quickly. Now, if we want to even do better, it's we should not separate our army the way we did. In this case, I just charged forward just for the sake of it, but you should mass them up into one specific spot and leave them fighting there. We absolutely routed this army without taking that much damage. The thing about this is it's such a strong impact force on starting the battle that it tends to give you quite a good edge in battles, as you don't take that much damage and are able to fight many more battles for less, because the initial impact is really strong. Now, with regards to monsters, a lot of people panic and don't know how to deal with them because they just view them as cheap. They don't see the point of having a cheap tactic. They don't see the point of having tactics if you just can build spam out creatures and not do anything else but spam out creatures. That is not entirely true. Yeah, this is just charging in, yes. But if you don't micro your creatures, if you don't take care of them, you will start losing them, and they still need to be taken care of, because there are armies that will deal ridiculous amounts of damage to you, especially in campaign. If you're going against Dark Elves, if you have a monstrous army, good luck to you, because that's gonna be one hell of a fight. Even against High Elves, you're gonna really struggle. The last thing I wanted to talk about before closing this short how-to, which you should know about, I guess, more than a how-to, is the individual units animations. And I think the best example of this would be done through the use of the animations given by Tomb Kings. You can see all of these are different units, they move differently and hands act differently. You have the Tomb Scorpions over here, amazing unit against infantry, super strong, super fast, don't have that much of a health pool. Then you have the Chimerian War Sphinx, they are cats, they are beautiful, they act like absolute beasts. They pounce on individual units and they shatter formations. They do damage, but over a long period of time. They also have a couple of archers on their back that keep shooting. Then you have the Necrosphinx. They do large damage against individual targets. Their animations are quite simple compared to the others, but they still do some bouncing around. Finally, you get the Higher Titans, slowest moving of the bunch. They tend to fight by stamping around and using their feet. Relatively not that great because of their speed. So we're just gonna go fight and see how they act all individually in a battle against these poor guys who are being beaten up worse than the Romans in Asterix and Obelisk right now. Now, as I said previously, speed is an important factor and mass is an important factor. I believe the highest mass of these individuals are the Chimerian War Sphinx. Technically speaking, it's the Necrosphinx, but the Chimerian War Sphinx have much better animation, and that's the argument that we're going to make here, is that our animations are really important in these units, and the animations can end up destroying your entire line formation in an instant. Now, there are ways and means to deal with this, and those ways and means stand to be that you need to make space in your lines. I think I've discussed this a number of times, but those lines, it's a bad idea to, in Total War Warhammer, to have lines like this because of this. If you can see, these guys are just about to pounce, and they are just shattering through that line relatively easily. In fact, this guy made it through 2 lines in an instant, and that is gone. Over here, as you can see, the animation of the Necrosphinx is very different. They slam into the ground and they don't do as much damage. All of a sudden, the entire formation of the Spearman in the center over here is taken apart by the Sphinx, and if then you micro the Sphinx slightly by targeting one individual unit at a time, you're gonna be able to do much more damage. That said, we're gonna now see the impact of the Tomb Scorpions. Tomb Scorpions are another form of animation. I think they have a most unique animation in the game, and that is they dive underground and they pounce up. That animation makes it very hard for them to be targeted. They move around erratically, hence they will not get shot by archers. And as we said, large units are absolutely easy targets for enemy missiles. The easiest targets, of course, would be the Higher Titans. I believe secondly, in this case, would be Necrosphinx, and that's a style. And these 4 types of monstrous units are pretty much similar across all the factions. I think that the Tomb Kings do the best job on highlighting monstrous units in that regard, because they have such a big variety of monstrous units. That said, as you can see, they do take quite a bit of damage if you're not massing them up enough. In the center we had a large mass of Chimerian War Sphinx, and they chewed through all of the Spearmen really quickly. Whereas even though here we have the Tomb Scorpion, which excel at dealing with infantry, and they're doing a decent number of kills, they are struggling a little bit because they are essentially matched 1-for-1. There, again, the same discussion as before. The Higher Titans are coming in and by the time they would have gotten here, they would have been shot to shit by handgunners or any form of units over there. They do have Spirit Leech and they do have Shadow's Renegades, but it's not the case. Long story short, if you're using monstrous infantry, as amazing as they are, actually let's put me the camera back on. if you're using monstrous infantry, guys, keep in mind these few things. Keep in mind their speed, keep in mind their size, keep in mind their movements, and with those three in mind, you're able to understand how to use them when you're attacking. So if you have a unit that has super fast speed and erratic movements, it's fantastic to charge enemy lines front head-on. If you have a unit that has decent speed but is more of a sniper, or does singular target units, that unit you're going to use it to snipe generals. And if you have a unit that does not have any entity mass and that does not really do anything particular, then, oh yeah, we have Simba who came to say hello. Then you need to be careful how to use it. My favorite units are those that you can do most damage with quickly, that you can maneuver them around really fast. So Dragon of Shagets, Chimerian War Sphinx, 2 Scorpions, and make sure that you always have support for your monsters. Your monsters, as good as they are, will not be able to do that much on their own. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow we will be back with more, both me and Simba. But for now, we'll tell you good night and goodbye. Take care and bye! You really wanted to be in the video, didn't you? Bye bye.